So let's talk a little bit how I'm gonna run it through. So I'm gonna have a quick intro first, then we're gonna try to talk a little bit what is actually an NFT. Then I'm gonna dive more into what I mean with next-gen NFT, what are its benefits, and then finally coding time and some final notes. So first, some like quick intro. So who am I? I couldn't find any good picture for me, so I thought I put a picture from where I spend most of the time. I'm a developer for many years. In the early 2000s, I started with web development, and then I went into the artistic space, with doing interactive installation for museums and artists around the world. Then I went a bit back more into the web space, and after a while, I was getting bored of the Web 2 repetitiveness that was not so engaging anymore. And finally, I learned about Flow through MBA Top Shot, like many others. And at that point, I started to create Flovatar. So Flovatar is a unique approach on NFTs, and it started as a PFP project, but it has grown so much beyond that. So it all started back in December 21 by buying a pack, and inside the pack you would find a Spark of Life and some rarity boosters, and then some Flowbits accessories. Then with these accessories, you can go in the builder, and by burning a Spark of Life and some rarity booster, you can create your unique and fully customized Flovatar however you want, with the traits you want. And then after that, you can further customize it by switching on and off different Flowbits accessories, so a hat, eyeglasses, backgrounds, and generic accessories. And the nice part of all this is that, of course, you can trade each individual one as well as your unique Flovatar, and you can earn royalties for each Flovatar that has been resold, because you are the creator of the Flovatar. You put some creative process in it, and you're rewarded for that. So one of our main differentiation is that we just love SVGs. SVGs are vectorial graphics, so they're not like PNGs in pixels, but they are more lines that are drawn. What this allows us is to have full customizability, being fully customizable. So you, like I said, you can create your own Flovatar with the eyes, the mouth, nose, or whatever you want. It can be interactive. So we have examples where you can click on a basketball and the basketball will jump to the hook, and it's gonna interact based on your actions. And this is only possible with SVGs and not with normal images. We have a really big part of gamification by the ability of mixing and combining different traits. Like, for example, with Wild Turkey's balloon, one of our team members, that normally the balloon is a blue balloon, but then if you equip it with a specific trait, it turns out to become red. And this opens up to a whole world of possibilities. And then they are fully animated, so they can move, they're not static, and they can have smooth transitions. And especially they are fully on chain, so they are stored on the Flow blockchain. They're not stored somewhere else on IPFS servers that if someone stops paying for them, they will disappear. They will live on the Flow blockchain forever. So I want to take a step back first and let's ask the question, what is an NFT? So if you ask this question to most of the people, the common people that just heard talking about it every now and then, most of them will very roughly say the NFT is more or less an image and a certificate of ownership, so that it says that I own that image. Pretty much, this is what people have in mind. But actually, if we dive a little bit more into it, that's not the case. It's not really that. What an NFT is so much more than just an image. It can be sound, it can be a database, it can be actual code, it can be a game, it can be royalties or financial functionalities behind it. So it should be regarded as something much more broader than just something so specific. So from my point of view, I try to see NFTs are digital resources. They are something that it's very, very generic, and we don't have to make the error on focusing so much on just one application, like like associating them with images. They can mutate over time. They can be shaped by their owners, perform actions, and they can interact with each other. So there are many, many possibilities that NFTs still have to unlock. On the other side also is that looking at NFTs, we see that they unlock so many different utilities. Of course, they are a proof of passion. They are your entry point to a community membership, like a community membership card. They can be so many things, but ultimately, all these utilities are being enabled off-chain. Yes, you have this token, but then ultimately all the rest that comes after it is happening off-chain. What would be nice is to bring them much more on-chain and to have them guaranteed, and they can you can be sure that they will keep working as long as the blockchain will live. So Cadence and Flow is just perfect for this, because the resource approach that it has, it's a much better fit than the classic ledger approach. To give you an example, on a very, very broad example on how things on Ethereum and basically most of the other blockchain works, there is one main ledger that says, I gave you this, you gave this to him, etc., etc., with one big array of metadata, one for each NFT, and each one is assigned to an address that is yours, but that can be changed to pass it to someone else. And then there is a set of public methods that the smart contract provides that you can use to interact always with this main ledger that it's centralized ultimately. While how does it work on Flow? In Flow, on the other side, there are many individual resources, and each one of them, it's saved in the user wallet storage. And this is a very different approach because you own the resources and the storage that is in your wallet, and nobody can take it away from it. And also each resource provides methods that allow you to interact and change its individual state. So this is much more close to a reality of what we want to achieve with NFTs. I think using and creating NFTs on the ledger-based approach, it's not really the best fit for the technology. You can do it, but it's not the best way to do it. While with Cadence and with the approach it has, I think it's really unique, and we have to leverage it much more because we have this opportunity to really treat them as digital objects that can be really anything, and it's important to treat them in this way. So what I think of what the next generation of NFTs, what the next wave of NFTs will be. So I think they will and they should be customizable, dynamic, composable, and fully on chain. And what I mean with this, So first of all, by customizable, I mean that users can create them based on their taste and preferences and not just receive them from the results of a randomizer algorithm. Normally, most of the NFT projects, they just pre-randomize them, or they just have a script that will give you some random properties, but you have no say in saying how you will see your NFTs. So this is an important part, to give them the ability to make them also however they want. It should be dynamic. So dynamic, it's important because data should be allowed to evolve over time, depending also on the actions performed by their owners. Like anything you own, it evolves along with you and with your experiences. And like a tattoo that you want to make, you keep adding things and you remember of those things along the way. It's important to keep it dynamic over time. Then it should be composable. Composable because they can be nested and combined with each other so that they can unlock different functionalities. And this will allow to open up to so many possibilities, and it will be definitely more future-proof as well. And then finally, it should be fully on-chain. So like we said, with SVGs, with Flovatar, we are making them vectorized as vectorized images, and they can be stored directly on the Flow blockchain. Even if you don't want to use SVG, there are other ways. You can use also PNGs, but the idea is to rely as much as possible on the blockchain if possible, so that you don't have to use IPFS or other needs. So what are the benefits of this approach, this new approach? So first of all, NFTs can be more fun, organic, and decentralized. So people can decide how to make it and not call the randomizer algorithm for them. They will have a bigger longevity by evolving over time. So people can keep being engaged with their NFTs and their digital assets by changing the accessories, by giving them a name, writing a short bio story, or leveling them up, etc., etc. Then anyone can build new stuff on top of an NFT. So composability means unlimited possibilities and future-proof expansibility. So something that you have now will be a building a block of something bigger in the future. And by combining it with another NFT or some other functionality, you will be able to achieve so much more from it than you currently can now. And finally, I believe that the bottom-up approach is much better than the top-down. So thinking more in terms of building blocks that anyone can contribute to, instead of a monolithic, centralized smart contract that controls everything. I think it's much more efficient and can open so many more possibilities that no other single entities or centralized approach can have. And finally, using on-chain assets, it equals to having a trustless guarantee of having your assets live forever, or as long as the blockchain will live. And this, of course, it's an incredible important thing in such quick changing world that we live in. So I wanted to dive more into the code a little bit to show you also the approach that I'm trying to have with Flovatar, and also looking forward what I hope the NFT standards will be. So first of all, one very important building block that was recently introduced on the Flow blockchain was the NFT metadata view. And this standard provides a lot of very important information about the NFTs and their collections. And it's a fundamental piece for marketplaces or aggregators in general, so that they can interact with many different collections without having to know the details of each one of them. So we can share a common standard. And it's very, very important to have a common standard because it opens up, again, possibilities for other people to jump in and take advantage of what we are building and maybe make something even better on top of it. So just wanted to go quickly go through the code on GitHub. First, this is the builder, by the way, of Flovatar, so you can see how you can change all the bodies and everything. But let's go in the code. And we can see the metadata view smart contract that what it does is basically providing a resolver interface that NFT collections and an NFT smart contract have to adhere to in order to be part of the standard. So it's something that developers have actively to support. And thankfully on the Flow blockchain, I think pretty much every collection is now doing it. And what it does is to return a set of views that you can return to provide information about the NFT itself. So for example, we have the generic NFT view that will return an ID of the NFT, the display information, so containing the images and all of that, the external URL, so pointing to a website where you can see the details, the collection information, and the collection visualization data, royalties attached to it, and also traits of the NFT itself. So by having this common standard, any NFT can then read the data with the data structure they have, a free way to do it and a custom way of doing it. And then they can condense it into a standard way of sharing it so that anyone can consume it and take advantage of it. So you have this method that will provide basically the NFT view for each view resolver, that this would be the NFT resource that provides this interface. And diving more into the details, you can see all the further detailed views, like the display, where you can see a name, a description, a thumbnail that can be an image of many different types, and so on and so on. So this is really, again, is really, really important because this allows to build the building blocks of composability, because you can understand what are the other NFTs, what are they providing, how are they created, etc. So the next part I wanted to talk to you about is the composable NFT metadata view. So this is like fresh paint, and it's still totally work in progress. We are working on this with BRTech, a very good friend from Find, that developed also the smart contract for Doodle. And being both involved in NFTs that are composable, that can be embedded one into the other, we thought it would be a good idea to also join forces and try to define also an interface, a new standard that could provide information about composable NFTs. So this subset of NFTs that are a bit more specific because they define a way to contain one or more NFTs into itself. with BRTech, we've been trying to define this set of methods and interfaces. And again, this is, don't take this code as final code, because I just finished writing it a few minutes before this webinar, just to show you a little bit the intention of the direction we're going, but this will change totally, and just to show you a little bit the idea behind it. So the idea is to define some slots that can be provided by a composable NFT. So a composable NFT will have these different slots. In Flovatar case, to make you understand, the 4 slots that a Flovatar would provide are the eyeglasses, the hats, accessories, and backgrounds. So you can see them separated, being defined as flow bits. So the important differentiator is that the first group are traits that define the Flovatar itself, and those ones defined and minted, they are immutable, unique, and you can't change them. On the other hand, eyeglasses, hat, accessory, and background, they are something that is optional, and you can swap them anytime. So you can put them on and off, you can change them for any occasion, and they allow you to have all this new level of composability. So in this sense, each one of them will be 1 slot. We would have 4 slots available for Flovatar composable NFT. Each slot would have an ID, so 1, 2, 3, 4, an ordering, because in our case, for example, we have different layers that one go on top of the other. So we will have this type of ordering that can be provided, a name for each layer, so it can be a background, an accessory, or eyeglasses, etc. And also an array of accepted types. For Flovatar in detail, it would be the only type currently available. It's a Flovatar component. So the components that you can see as individual NFTs that are the flow bits, so like this hat, etc. These are actual individual NFTs called flow bits that you can equip on your Flovatar. And so in this case, we would return this type of NFTs that we accept on that specific slot. And then we would provide some information about display information for the contained NFT as well. And finally, each container could potentially contain other NFTs in itself. A little bit like in Inception, you start going deeper and deeper and deeper. You can create like a tree view almost, that one big NFT might contain hundreds of others. So who knows what people will come up with, but this is something that we're thinking about. So this slot will provide the structure for providing this information. And then you would have some events that would be emitted that every composable NFT should emit when equipping a new NFT. So when I equip the eyeglasses, when I swap them, when I want to change my my Flowbit, I will trigger this equipped NFT event that will provide me a set of information like the owner address, the parent ID of the NFT that triggered the event, the parent name of the NFT, the parent thumbnail, the child ID of the NFT that it's contained. So the eyeglasses in this case, the type of NFT, what slot was used, so the eyeglasses slot in this case, and the child name of the NFT and its thumbnail. And the same would happen when you unequip, when you remove one NFT from the parent Flovatar container NFT. It would trigger this this event, and the same would happen. Actually, this is a mistake. It should be yeah, not semicolon, but yeah, I will fix that later. And then we're starting to define also some methods that the interface should provide when the interface is implemented by a composable NFT. So it should provide a way to equip an NFT, so you can pass on an NFT resource and tell in which slot you would like it to go, and then it will execute that. And if there is already an NFT inside that slot, you would receive it back. Otherwise, you would receive a nil value, and that's it. And the same function would be for unequipping an NFT, so removing it from the parent container. So you would tell which slot you would like to remove it from, and it will provide you, return you the NFT if present, otherwise nil value. And then other methods that would be really useful is to borrow the NFT from the slot. So getting the NFT resource from the slot that holds it, and then returning also the composable interface of the NFT contained in that slot, because again, it could be that the NFT containing that in that slot could contain in itself other NFTs. So we could go further down the tree. And then we should provide a method to let anyone know what are the NFT types of NFTs that each slot is accepting. So by using this method, we can ask each NFTs, what can I send you for each slot, and how can I interact with you, and how can I send you things. And finally, two methods to get the list of the available slots, and also to get the data from a specific slot as well, with all the informations. And this would be a little bit how in a similar way how the metadata views provides the NFT view for each NFTs. In a similar way, we could use this for providing this NFT view for anyone to use it and to take advantage of it. So I think this, of course, this is all again work in progress. I don't know how long it will take, but yeah, I think it might bring some guidance also to other projects that will want to follow this path of powering up the NFTs a little bit more, but making them a bit different from the usual, and making them composable. So we'll see and how it goes, but keep an eye on the GitHub repo. I will share all the links as well later on, and yeah, be always open to hear suggestions, and yeah, feel free to participate in the discussion and to propose ideas on how to improve it, or how to define all these type of things. And then I wanted to move a little bit more and diving more into the actual Flovatar NFT smart contract. because I think it's a good use case of what we've been talking about, and I wanted to show you exactly how I managed to achieve this, and what I think is the first fully on-chain composable NFT that it's really leveraging the SVG technology in different ways by making them interact and unlocking things that no other NFT project managed to do. So let me quickly go through the smart contract so I can show you the secrets of it. So the Flovatar smart contract is based on this idea, again, of separating a set of traits that are the key ingredients of a Flovatar, what defines a Flovatar and what makes it unique. We store each combination, each minted combination for each one. You will see in the URL here, this is the combination that will be minted if you would create this Flovatar right now. So we store all these combinations in this special dictionary so that we can guarantee that no one else will be able to mint the exact same combination like you. So this allows us to keep control of it. This one is a similar one to allow people to give names to their Flovatar, and by making sure that no duplicate name will be possible to be minted. So it will be unique to a single Flovatar. And then, of course, we provide all the usual events like the contract initialized, the withdraw, NFT, deposit, create, etc., but also other that, like when you set the name of Flovatar. We have royalties that are part also of the metadata view that you can check for each Flovatar. And the important thing in our case is that we don't just provide a general royalty for the whole project, but we also add the royalty for the creator of the Flovatar. So when you click and create the Flovatar, your address will be stored in the NFT itself as a royalty. So you will receive the 1% future sales for that specific Flovatar forever. We define some metadata so that we can define what the Flovatar looks and what are its properties. So obviously the mint number, the series, the SVG, it's the actual image, because ultimately if we look, open image in a new tab, the nice thing about SVGs is that ultimately they are code. So it's not the pixels or anything, but it's actual code that anyone can read. And it's just numbers and lines and things that the computer then transforms into drawings, but it's ultimately lines and text that you can concatenate. So the actual image is stored as a text on the blockchain in here. The combination we saw, it's defining the Flovatar details. Your address is being stored in an NFT itself to provide you the royalties and to provide you the credit for creating that Flovatar. You have a set of components. So in this case, it will be the eyeglasses, hats, accessories, and backgrounds that you can equip on your Flovatar. And then you have rarities. In Flovatar, we have different rarity levels. So there are some traits that are more rare than others, and depending on how many you selected, you will have a different rarity score. So this is also provided by the metadata. So moving on a little bit more in the details, I wanted to show you a little bit how the composability actually works to get more into the details of it all. So, for example, let's say we want to add, see what accessory a Flovatar has. And in that case, we would call the get accessory method, and it would provide us the template ID that that Flovatar is using at that moment. And especially this function is what provides you, it's the equivalent of what we're defining here in equip NFT. So behind the scene, what it would happen is when I set an accessory, I pass the NFT of the accessory. I check if it's of the right category, if it's the right series, and then I emit an updated event that notifies people about the update on the Flovatar, and then I switch in the slot, the accessory slot. I take out the current NFT, if there is any, and I insert into it the component that I'm passing on with the method. So by performing this, I will return if there is an NFT from the set accessory method, and I will be able to use the NFT that I pass it to. So in this way, we can see a very simple but very effective usage of composability. Just by providing the necessary slot and providing a couple functions that give you the ability to add an accessory or to remove an accessory. With this one, with just this simple ability, you can have, you can open up so many possibilities of creating new things that will extend your collection over time. Like, for example, we did this one for Halloween, and this is now for the Super Bowl, and we have so many new things that came along the way. This is for New Year of last year, so you can see how it can be so much more alive, a project, if you have this approach. Yeah, I think this is mostly the concept behind Flovatar. And then before jumping back into the presentation with the final consideration, I wanted to go through the get views method that is connected to the metadata views smart contract that we saw earlier. So in this method, we provide all the different views that we're supporting. So we say to people or anyone interested, we as a collection, we will provide you the information about the traits, the serial, the external URL, the edition, display, royalties, the collection data, and the collection display. All these things will be provided. And then we do it in the following way. By asking for a specific view, we will return the specific struct from a metadata view, so the serial, the editions, etc., etc. And what we are proposing with the composable NFT is to then have something else that can be added to this one, so we can provide a composable NFT view in some way that provide information about all the NFTs that are contained into the NFT itself. And the very last thing, I want to show you the create Flovatar method. That is, I think, probably the biggest one of the whole smart contract. As you can see, you pass a lot of parameters because you pass the spark, you say all the traits that you selected, you pass the accessories that you want to add to your Flovatar, and all the boosters that are necessary to create the Flovatar, and finally your address as well. And then after a long series of many different checks, making sure the category is right, the series is right, that all the accessories belong to the correct series, and you have enough boosters, etc. You count how many boosters and legendary traits you selected, and then finally, if everything is correct, if the combination has not been already taken, and all of this, then finally we create the NFT by generating the necessary metadata based on the parameters, the arguments that you passed on. We create the royalty. We save your address into the smart contract. And then finally, we create the NFT, and we add the combination to the minted combination so that no one else will be able to mint it. And finally, we burn all the, we include all the different accessories, and we burn all the different boosters, Spark, that were used in the process. And the very last thing, we return the NFT. So in this way, again, it shows how customization can be achieved just by allowing users to pass a lot of parameters under certain conditions, and to give them the ability to be part of the project and not just being a consumer, but being more an active creator of it. And I think this really makes a difference. Going through the last slides before jumping back into questions and the final considerations. What we're aiming to do with Flovatar is Flovatar is quickly becoming a thriving ecosystem that is created by the community and other brands and crypto projects. So with especially with the release of the FAB, the Flovatar Universe Builder, that will start working on soon after releasing the Dust token in the coming weeks. It will allow anyone to create their own NFT series without knowing how to code, but by leveraging this approach of composability and customization and having fun with NFTs and allowing people to be both creators and consumers. So yes, make sure to stay tuned around the Flovatar world to know more about what we are developing in this regard. Then I wanted to mention, obviously, the Flovatar Hackathon special bounty for the Flow Hackathon. So we are giving away 1,000 Flow plus 5,000 Dust token in price for the project, the best app that will extend the Flovatar ecosystem in the most interesting and useful and fun way. The requirements are that obviously it has to use and leverage the Flovatar ecosystem in some way by using our APIs that we provide for getting the images and all of that. But especially and most importantly, it has to use some type of cadence scripting to get data from the blockchain directly, to show how you can leverage the blockchain data and to leverage the methods that the Flovatar smart contract provides to create something nice on top of it. So make sure to participate and to send your ideas, and we will be super happy to help you out with any questions or anything you might need along the way. So make sure to contact us on our Discord, direct message me, and everything else. So yeah, I wanted to just go through some final notes before wrapping it up. So I wanted to think about. I'm also new in the blockchain space as a developer. I knew a lot of blockchain technology from quite a while, but as a developer, I really started recently. And one thing that really changed my mind is recently when I started asking myself what really did remain of my digital life from the 20 years ago. How many companies that own our data and how long did they really last before shutting down? I'm probably too old, I'm more older than many of you, but I passed through all the MySpaces and Flickr and Delicious and all this kind of website that eventually faded out. And also how many people really have good backups of their digital lives, and the most important things, how will they survive over time, and how can we be sure that we can do that. I think companies and people come and go, and it's inevitable, and we have in hundreds of years, no, in hundreds and thousands of years, nobody will be here and things will change. And I really believe that as a society, blockchains are the best bet to keep alive our digital systems and their data, disregarding of that. So no matter of if a company will be here in 5, 10, 100 years, or if will be here in 100 years, it doesn't matter. Blockchains, hopefully, if enough people will start running nodes, as long as a few people will do it, they will remain alive, and that this is a pretty big guarantee for that. So I think it's time to think about what will be our digital legacy beside our normal legacy that we leave, like with paintings, with statues, buildings that we can touch, and we can leave to the people that will come after us. I think we also have to start thinking what about the digital things we are doing and building and spending so much time and effort into it. So what are the open source tools and data and systems that will leave to our great grandchildren? I think this is an important thing to ask ourselves. So I see blockchains are as the best public supercomputer we could ever hope for. It's like a huge computer that anyone can use, that it's like anyone can share and we can all agree on. And I think it's something really powerful that we still are not grasping. We still have to really understand what it means. But I think it's important to use this supercomputer at their full potential, and not just as very specific subset of things. And then most importantly of all, we should have fun with NFT. It's not just about making quick flips and just a financial thing, but we should have fun with our digital things, and we should play with them, and we should bring the fun back into NFT. And yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Luca. We have a few questions over the chat, the Q&A section, but I'm not sure if we have enough time. We have 2 or 3 minutes to wrap it up. So maybe you can check and take some important queries that you want.
Yeah, I'll go quickly through. So yes, royalties go to both the project and the user. So we apply this both system. And yes, you can attach a specific utility to specific flow bits by saying that they enable certain type of things. So also as SVG will activate in different ways based on how they are combined. So it's all possible. So if the gas fee wasn't higher for change and accessories, for example, about this one, gas fees fortunately are really low for Flow, and they can be almost disregarded for changing accessories, and they can be super fast. So yeah, it's not a problem for that. Yes, for the APIs, I will provide a link shortly. I have to still prepare it, but if you go on Discord, we have a special developer channel, and there is a pinned message with the Postman file with all the endpoints that you can use to get all the informations from our API endpoints that give you some marketplace information and things like that. And so Flovatar World could integrate entirely separate collections. Yes, exactly. So the idea is that we could open up to any type of NFTs. Of course, if they are SVG NFTs, we could make really fun things with them because we could integrate them even more, but not necessarily. They can be normal NFTs, PNG, using PNG and everything. So definitely a possibility as well. And yes, it took quite a few months. I started in August and I finished more or less in December. It took a while, but it was definitely worth, and I didn't stop ever since developing it.